Did you know you can advertise on podcasts?
Don't act like you're not impressed.
Find out more at podvertise.com.au. That's podvertise with an s.com.au.
We are live. We're live. So thank you, everybody, for your patience. Before we get started, we wanted to start Best Team Men, this emergency podcast, with a serious message. And that is we would like to dedicate this round to our brother, Adam Pope, his family, his wife, Danny, Ayla, Archer. You are all in our thoughts. And Andy, you and I can probably talk briefly about Popey, how much we love you, mate, and we love everything about you. You're a brilliant father, a husband, and most importantly to us, you're an amazing friend, and you do everything for everybody. And we know right now you're hurting. And for us, we'll do anything for you, man. And it's important for us to have a bit of a laugh. Hopefully you can do the same, mate. But we love you. Andy?
Yeah, 100%. You literally said everything that I wanted to say. We are definitely here for you 100% for the whole family as well. So whatever happens, we are here.
All right, let's get into it.
Fortunately for them, their DJ neighbour, Matt Burgess, couldn't sleep.
My nine, Jared Walsh, lovely bloke. He's been around for ages. Oh, mate. Jared, I love him. He's a great guy.
And world tennis number 3, Andy Martins, had to, Andy Murray even.
With a massive thanks to Con and Lena at the Brighton Trophy Centre, the Oddsock Mob, Shifty Lizard Brewing, and Steve the Pirate at Mind and Movement Physio. This is an extraordinary meeting, I guess you could call it, or a podcast. And true to lockdown form in the press conference, we're an hour late, and that's my fault, so apologies for that.
This is so funny because we've been waiting an hour to talk to you, and Andy, we've had an hour to think of a title for this Facebook Live, and Andy's like, what should it be called? And we're like, hey, let's call it Emergency Podcast 1 hour late. And what's Andy done? He's called it Emergency Podcast 1 hour late.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a thing to a past boss, I guess. Anyway, yeah, so here we are, live right around the world.
Yeah, this is the first time we've done this too, so it's exciting.
Yeah, this is the very first time we have done a live podcast, and we are on Facebook Live right now. Very quickly, because there's going to be some people who we've never experienced Best Team Men before. Maddie and I got together a little while ago, and we're like, let's do a serious sports podcast on the Ozcast network, and that lasted for a couple of weeks. And then we're like, you know what our strength is? Not talking
sport.
We're so shit at it. Oh. And we decided to just have a chat. And Andy was there at Ozcast Network. So Andy and Liam, they've got Ozcast, which is on Perry Street in the city of Adelaide next to BTS. And we got Andy in for an episode, and then all of a sudden he became the most popular member. So we kept him on.
Yeah,
the funny thing is for people that haven't been to the Ozcast Network, it's like the studio and then this red velvet curtain and then Andy's office. And often Andy would be in his office just doing work, and Jared and I would be doing the podcast, and for one of the odd times we'd say something funny, and you just hear Andy snicker in the background. And it just got to a point where we're like, Andy, do you just want to be on it? And he said yes. So, and like Jared said, he's taken over. He's everyone's favourite, and we love that.
Well, thank you very much. Also, you can buy the merchandise at ozcastnetwork.com.
Yeah, so Andy's got one of the T-shirts on, and as we said, this is Facebook Live, right? So people are watching, so we can reference your comments throughout the podcast. Con from Brighton Trophy Centre, hallelujah. Kieran Bridge says morning. Scott says get your old mate out, Matty. Josh says it was nice of the Mardi Gras to lend Andy their backdrop. Toby wanted to come in my dungeon. Cameron Mark said woo. Jamie Manson, Andy's on the vodkas, party, and then Kieran's dropped a party. So that's great. We've got a group of people, a community, and there's lots to discuss. We promised something on Twitter because, Maddie, you've taken an hour to get here, which it's another conversation altogether, which we can get to in a second. But we did say that because you've taken so long and people have waited for us, we are going to uncover some more radio stories and play just grabs which Andy and I just listened to before, and I was crying with laughter because Andy and I are out of radio at the moment, and probably a long time now. But it's so amazing just to reflect on these things. And I've been like out of radio now for almost 3 months, and now it's easier to not feel guilty talking about. Wait a second. Maddie is normally drinking Fanta. What are you drinking?
What is that?
Is that a Sunkist?
Oh, my God. Did that say 0 sugar?
It did.
Oh, what? What's in it then?
Probably a fuckload of stevia.
So people are asking if this is the enema episode.
Yeah, I've got it right here.
What do you mean?
No.
So, okay, there's lots to get through. Just to give you a kind of understanding of where I would like to go with this, and you guys can discuss.
Sure.
Christmas pageant, we need to talk about the radio stuff, which is great. The wisdom with Walshy, I have one to bring up for you, which I think is timely right now. And I think we need to have like some real talk about this lockdown and how it affects everybody. But first, Matt, an hour late. Why were you an hour late to getting on right now?
I was on a Zoom call with the footy club that I'm coaching for now. So just going through all the, pre-planning for pre-season, which has now been delayed because of where we are currently in the world.
What's the footy club, mate?
Yankalilla Tigers. So
go the Yanks.
Yeah,
the
Yankees.
It's football too, Andy. You know, the oval shaped ball.
Oh, yes, the old footy ball. I've got one here, actually. Oh,
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're frozen, so I can't see it.
Yeah, Andy's like one of those really bad movies that tries to put English version dialogue over the top.
Oh my god!
Jeez, I just poured water everywhere. That's good. All right,
Andy. What was quite funny is, Maddie, you sent us a message saying, "Guys, I'm in a Zoom call. I've got a work meeting." And then all of a sudden you've sent a screenshot. I'm like, hold on. Why is Lindsay Thomas, former North Melbourne and Port Adelaide footballer, Trent Kelly, former Redback, and your canine father on the same Zoom call? And then obviously they don't work for your dad. So it was a footy thing that I guess it's technically a work meeting, isn't it?
Yeah. I just I think I felt less guilty if I said work.
Yeah,
for holding everyone up. So that's I lied. Sorry.
No, that's fair
okay.
enough.
Got me enough time to get into
Andy,
that.
what's going on with your background? Oh, yeah. So for the people who are watching this for the very first time, we normally do a Best Team Men podcast and a Booze Team Men. We're kind of mixing it tonight because everybody's in lockdown, and we thought let's do an emergency podcast. And what's interesting, for our last episode, you guys spoke about people seeing the thing over my microphone, the mic sock. That's what it looks like, basically like that.
That's beautiful.
And it's a bit weird. Matthew, your wife is watching, who obviously joked about me being made redundant and then asked how to win a radio competition, which is fantastic. Andy, talk to us about internet connection because everybody's using 4G.
Yeah, so I'm just using 4G.
No, you're spotting your phone.
Yeah, I'm actually at the moment because so the kids, there's 2 iPads, there's TV with internet, Xbox with internet, phones, all that sort of stuff, all running off our little 4G modem. Because at the office, that's where we have the good internet, right? So I'm currently hotspotting off my phone. So who knows how this stream will go? It could drop out any time. I've just dropped water everywhere, so it could be a fire too. So then we have a real
totally fine
party. So but
can I ask? Did they just laying around your house, that stuff, or did you go and buy it for this?
Well, I was like, last year I was going to be the Mardi Gras, and I decided to make my own float, and that's what happened. No. So the actual the backing of it, right? This Asian looking change station.
It is very Bali.
Yeah. That was actually from Ozcast. We used to have a media screen on, so I brought that home. And then for the launch of another little business I'm involved with, Little Box Co, with my partner Yaz, she used that as a backdrop, basically. So if you need any food boxes at all, give us a yell at littleboxco.com.au.
What I didn't realise is the fact that we're all doing this tonight, which is great. You've got branding on for Best Team, and Maddie's got branding on for Fresh to Definitely DJing, and I've just got LeBron James on, which is outstanding. there are people watching, and I'm sitting outside at the moment just to give people an understanding. So my neighbours are probably listening tonight. For us, we normally we don't plan, which is the best thing about what we love about doing this. However, when we do this podcast, we talk about serious stuff and we talk about fun stuff.
Sorry, you're getting a bit boring there for a minute. I thought I'd just load it up in my head.
Okay, so what have you guys noticed about this South Australian lockdown for 6 days? So today is day 1. What have you taken out of it? Let's go around the group.
All right, who's next then?
You go.
So when we found out yesterday, for some reason, Maddie tends to know things before things happen. So we had a bit of a heads up, which is weird, which we'll get to in a second, I guess. So I'm sitting in Ozcast yesterday and I was like, holy shit, there's going to be some sort of lockdown thing going on. I better go try to buy some face masks. So I went in Rundle Mall and tried to clean out everywhere that sold face masks just in case we needed them for the family.
Yeah.
And then I was walking past Coles, and it was about 12:35, I think, so just minutes after the main bit of the announcement, I think. And Yaz calls, and he said, "Oh, this is what's going on." I was like, "Man, you want anything from Coles? Because we got no food at home. The only food we have got is the whole Willy Wonka factory because of Little Boxco, right? So there's sweet treats aplenty, but actual food to eat, we have none."
This is advertising of Little Boxco throughout the whole stuff.
So anyway, I love boxes, okay? And especially the ones full of food. And you can check them out at littleboxco.com.au. So I'm sitting there and she's like, yeah, get me a few things from Coles. So I've gone down to Coles, downstairs in Rundle Mall there, and there was no one anywhere. And literally 2 minutes after that, it was like this tidal wave of people coming in, all wearing face masks and just buying the whole place out. And then yesterday afternoon, it was this weird feeling like it was almost like the day before, Good Friday or the day before Christmas, where you knew you couldn't go to shops, but like something was going on. It was different, and there was this weird, odd feeling. And then last night, I think we were up until 1 o'clock, like a lot of people, and like looking at Facebook, and everyone's starting to freak out a little bit. The fact they're being sort of confined to a space when they're not wanting to be confined to a space, and all mental health stuff and all sorts of gears going on. So it's pretty crazy. And then because we have 4 kids at home, so it's pretty crazy at home too. So.
We've run out of time now for Best Team Man.
All right, see ya, guys. See ya.
It was good to know, Andy.
Thank you. What was the question
Merry
again?
Christmas, everyone. Maddie, what did you notice?
Well, like you mentioned earlier, I got a bit of a head start on everyone, which was awesome.
Yeah, how does that work? Because that always happens.
Yeah, so one of my employers has a friend reasonably high up within the government, and he gave me a quick heads up and said, you need to go.
That sounds so sus.
Yeah, it really does.
Sus at all. It's not sus at all.
Do they go night clubbing?
They might own the nightclub that I work for. But anyway,
Stephen Marshall owns Red Square.
No. So I got a phone call about 11 o'clock and telling me what was potentially going to happen and to head to the supermarket if I needed to. So I did. And
can you stop for a second?
Yeah.
Glenn Hawke has just commented 13
saw
minutes in and Jared hasn't farted yet. Andy, can you please just can you take care of that?
Yeah, so Glenn Hawke said 13 minutes in and Jared hasn't farted yet. Are you okay, bro?
Have you got something to play there? Like any sound effects that you potentially could?
Yeah, just maybe something like here.
Okay, sorry.
Got a couple in the bag.
there we go.
The interesting thing is those sound effects you might hear during this the show tonight are actual farts, and I believe that I've grabbed from Jared in the studio back in the day.
That is alleged. Maddie, continue. You were out clubbing with Stephen Marshall.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And he
oh, good.
He said, I'll give you some info if you can a couple of drink cards and door list. And I said, yeah, done. So he, my contact gave me the heads up about 11 o'clock that if I needed to go get something from the supermarket to go do it because it's going to pop off. And it certainly did. So
Cool.
Yeah,
we missed
but
the
it
whole
was funny.
story. 'cause the
I went
internet
and got
got anyway.
everything I needed from Coles.
No one understood what you just said there. That was the worst.
Are you guys still on dial-up down at Morpeth Vale?
No,
You can talk.
Yeah, I know.
You can
Okay.
talk, mate. Mate, do you guys still have 2G? Come and check out my PlayStation 1 with Snake. It's awesome. So when we got the news, I thought, you know what? I don't need to panic buy. So I'm up like in Port Adelaide area, and I went to Semaphore Road where there's a Drake's, and I went in there and I got a 45 pack.
You're one of those
toilet paper.
ones.
I thought, awesome. No, but it was just there. So I got it because last lockdown we got into trouble. So I just got it. It was fine. No panic. Everyone was lovely. Got in the line, which took about an hour and a half. But then we got to the point of paying, and I messaged my missus and I said, I don't want to be a creep, but the girl who's working on the checkout, I reckon I should buy her something because she looks stressed. Wait, you're giving me weird looks already. Do you think it's weird?
So this was after the announcement.
Yeah. So people were panic buying already. So
What are you going to buy her? A fucking koala, like Kit Kat or something? Another koala.
I'm glad you said that. I'll get to that. I drove to Westlakes and the line was out the door, and Westlakes was a bit of a hot spot as well. So it's a good thing I didn't go inside. And then went to Port Adelaide. It was ridiculous, and everybody was lining up for testing as well. So then anyway, I ended up back at Drake's, and it was surreal. So then I thought, I'm going to do this. I got all the stuff that I needed. I paid, and then I left two things at the end, and I bought her a Kit Kat, as she said, and a Red Bull. However, if you're a listener to our podcast, you will know that I have a weird way of communicating to people in awkward situations. Like last week, I had a guy fixing our air conditioner, and I'm like, mate, do go to the gym because look at those muscles. You must go to the gym, right? So I've said to her, obviously, I'm like, yeah, don't bag the other stuff because that's for you. You look like you need it. And she's like, no, I'm good, thanks. I'm like, no, you can have that. That's on me. And then I got out of there. Like it was another awkward moment where the only thing that I managed to do was take the basket outside of the Drake's there, and then I got told it's not allowed to leave the store. So I had to go back and double down and go, yeah, I just returned this here, no worries. And I think I've really double freaked.
Well, I was going to say, like, you know how you talk too much when you do that sort of thing? We're like, here's 4 chocolate fingers you can put in your mouth if you want. You know, you black out and you start talking, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, did I just say that? Oh, that's not the best.
Yeah. It was so uncomfortable. So what do you guys think about this whole thing? Because one of the other things which I've noticed people pointing out at the press conferences where Nicola Spurrier, the Professor Dr. Nicola Spurrier is doing an amazing job, right? Like, so we're shut down for 6 days here in South Australia, and it's tough, but we've also been through this recently. Some of the questions at the press conference they're incredible. There's one dude who yesterday yelled out, "Is Christmas cancelled?" And like they don't respond to those ones, but it's quite opportunistic from these guys to ask shit questions.
Well, I don't think Stephen Marshall has the power to wipe the 25th of December off the fucking calendar. So it's probably not cancelled. It just looks a bit different, mate.
Well, from a media point of view, like I say, because this is obviously the first sort of year properly where people can actually watch the full press conferences. Usually they just see the cut up bits on the news, right? So when I was sitting there watching that yesterday, or was it today even? I don't know. Had a bit of that, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what day it is. Like I was like, stop wasting their time. Like you're wasting my time by making this go longer than it should. Get to the point, guys. Not like there's some guy called Andrew.
Do you know what's ironic about that is your internet wigged out, and when you said get to the point, it took about 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's
to say that. Get to the point.
Yeah. Thank you, Optus. Thank you very much.
You're right. Because these people, you'd expect, like if Nicholas Spurrier decided, and I think that the police commissioner had a moment today where he's like, he doubled down on some people. But
he was angry today.
Yeah, you kind of feel like you want to go, now look, sorry guys, who just asked me if Christmas is cancelled? what's your name? And remember when, Andy, I'm going to make a reference here, which you won't get, but there was an AFL game a couple of years ago, which was played in Geelong, and Fremantle played against Geelong. And one of the questions to the Fremantle coach at the time, Ross Lyon, was in regards to the tactics that the Fremantle Dockers players used on the Geelong Cats, because Geelong were favourites in this game. Basically, the question was asked to Ross Lyon, and Ross said, what's your name? And the guy's like, oh, my name's Shane. And Ross turns and goes, you've had 4 quarters of footy to come up with a question, and that's the best that you've got? You're quite brilliant, Shane, aren't you? Like, you just absolutely
served him,
tore shreds off him. And you just want to be able to go, listen, who's the guy who asked if Christmas was cancelled? I don't have the power to get Rudolph, the red fucking nosed reindeer, up here to answer this question. Mrs. Claus is busy. Just stick with us and you'll be fine. Some of these journos, I think, are going, here's my moment in the sun, even though it's not that sunny.
It was today.
Yeah, it was pretty sunny today. I hate the hot weather.
Do you know, I went to, I panic bought some stuff, I'm not going to lie.
What did you get?
Call of Duty and a blow-up pool.
and 50 enema sticks.
No, I didn't have to get those. But it was quite funny. I went back to the shops about 2:00 and the lineup to get into Coles was a good 200 metres long.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, the concerning thing, Andy is really consuming that, which is wow,
that burns.
You know we can see you.
Oh, I thought it was just a mirror.
The concerning thing is in Port Adelaide, people were lining up to get tested, and then as soon as the press conference came out yesterday, they're like, you know what's more important than being tested for COVID? Going to buy pasta and 2-minute noodles. So we should probably go do that and not get tested now. So they were leaving the line to go panic buy at the shops, which was just a bit weird.
What about all the people that have gone, you're fucking beauty, I got 6 days off work, let's just get blind?
Yeah. I mean, why would you even consider that?
You're bloody on the sun kiss? Yeah, boy.
Okay, so look, there's a couple of things that we need to get to right now. And I think this is not a normal kind of podcast that we do. It's a Facebook Live one, and this is an emergency one. And we want to do this to connect with these people who are struggling through lockdown and stuff. And we've kind of drip-fed some radio stuff through our podcast over the past few episodes. We've lifted the curtain last week on radio competitions. We've kept some things a little bit quiet because I think it's important. Like you leave a sports team, you don't want to give away all the secrets of the sporting club. It's important. It's a respectful thing that I'm certainly doing, and you're not so much. So we're going to take you through some of the competitions and some of the audio. So the first one that we need to talk about is some of the big competitions. So, Maddie, last week your wife said, how do you win radio competitions? And we thought, okay, we need to really kind of lift the radio curtain on that because, Andy, there's a lot of radio competitions. Right now it's a really important time. The last survey is coming up before the end of the year. You've got to get these listeners. It's the most important one for sales.
Yeah,
you know
actually, I saw 5AA had paid for a big like a advertorial trailer to drive around with Dave and Will on the back. And I said to Yaz, I was like, you can follow that trailer and you'll find out where the survey books are this time round.
Yeah, definitely. So what happens when they go... So when the survey book comes out, Maddie, you are it's physically a book that comes to your area, and you should see the celebration when someone comes into work. Like if it's Nigel from accounts, like, hey guys, I've got a survey book.
G'day, it's Lyndon here.
I'm Lyndon.
And then, so then you go, you know what, let's just change everything. If we're going to do a Casanova cross or do a Black Thunder cross, yeah, all of a sudden, Nigel, where are you living in? You live in Salisbury Downs? Yeah, g'day, Casanova is right here in Salisbury Downs. What a coincidence we are here. Because you can't physically say on the radio, like tick the books, but you want to kind of influence it because it's all like an old analog system. So anyone who's following radio would understand this. So Nova were at a point where they're like, okay, we need to think of like a really cool competition that connects with people. What they thought of This is back when Nova was irreverent and just took the piss out of themselves and a little bit more like local, because you know at the moment that there's a lot of radio, a lot of media where people are based in Melbourne pretending they're in Adelaide, going, "Geez, we raised that guy a couple of years ago." It was like, oh, Andy, you've got to do it. I can't do this. I can't do it. You have to do it,
mate. Maybe you're walking down a Glenelg, or maybe you're walking down Henley Street. Like he'd always do that.
Henley
Did he
Street.
go? Yeah, like the people who go, "Oh, I just can't wait to see the Killers. They're playing at the Barton this Friday night. It's going to be sick."
Yeah.
You know, maybe you're going to go down Henley Beach Road, or maybe you're not. But you know what? How good's Adelaide? And they're just like chilling out in Richmond opposite the IKEA building in Victoria, pretending they're in South Australia. So right now it's a tough time. Local is the killer. So what we thought we would do is this huge competition where everybody needs to go around Adelaide and find out all of these facts, like facts about South Australia, interesting things. Maddie, guess the name of the competition.
I don't know. You actually put me
No,
on
it's definitely not that. Can you?
No.
That's incorrect. Andy, play the incorrect buzzer. That is incorrect. It's
Wow.
a double incorrect. Yeah.
That was comprehensive incorrect.
Okay. The competition was called Nova's Big Fact Hunt.
Big fact hunt.
Yes, I was going to say, you want to say it slower again, just for people to pick up on it.
Nova's Big Fact Hunt. That's what they called it. Intentionally, so people would go, "Oh, they're so cheeky. Can't believe they're doing that." And the announcers, obviously, being trusted to say Nova's Big Fact Hunt, would intentionally, accidentally, on purpose, get it wrong. And it was incredible. Like, that actually happened.
This is way back when it was no more than 2 ads in a row, and there was like a lot of what they used to say, is that irreverent? Is that
irreverent? Yeah,
is that what they
irreverent
used to say?
Taking the piss out of yourself.
Yeah.
We've got some comments as well. Sorry, I need to just jump in. Cameron, Maddie's just dropped out. Where's Maddie gone?
He's just like, I'm out. He just saw Kira had actually commented on there.
Fake book. Maddie's internet is gone. He'll be back in a second. Adam Pope is watching as well, which is brilliant, mate. Have a look at the start of this.
Actually,
he gave you a message.
Yeah, speaking of Popey, he sent me a photo of Lyndon, all right? I'm Lyndon, okay?
Yeah.
I just want to show it to you, just for everyone playing at home. They see what this legend of a Lyndon is. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
Yes.
Amazing. That's Lyndon, everybody.
While we're waiting for Maddie to come back in, so the reason these radio competitions happen is they want to be local. Last year I worked on a show where, remember, welcome back. So remember there was a show last year on Channel 10 called The Masked Singer. Remember that?
I'm still on the big fact hunt.
Oh, yeah. So that happened, right? So people were saying that incorrectly. There was a show called The Masked Singer, and we had someone come up to us and go, what about this for an idea? Why don't we have a contest called The Masked Dinger? And we actually had to tell the guy. We had to go,
That's right.
Hey,
Yeah.
You know that dingers are another word for, prophylactics, right?
I was quite honest, and I was like, mate, you realise it's another word for frangers. And he was like, what are they?
We've had some weird competitions that happen. If anybody needs to know how to win a radio competition, please have a look at the last round that we did. So, Andy, now we move into this particular time of year, Maddie, because I think, Maddie, I'm doing a lot of talking here, but I think this is important that we tell people what's going on with radio.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it.
So, because Maddie used to be, Andy, I haven't said this to anyone before, when we used to do like morning radio where you're on between 9 and 12 and you're like, just get a caller on.
Yeah.
If you listen closely to radio stations, right? Nova doesn't do it anymore because they don't have callers on. But if you listen to SAFM right now and you hear it and you go, I'm just about to play the brand new song from Nicki Minaj. It's called Anaconda. You love that, don't you, Maddie? And then you hear this, yeah, I love it. It's great. And they just play that grab.
Yep.
What you don't know is that a couple of days before, I've spoken to Maddie and I'm like, Maddie, what do you reckon about State of Origin? And you've got, yeah, I love it. It's great. So I've just cut that bit of audio. You can play it for anything. So we were forced to do that. Andy, I used to always call Matt. I'm like, bro, I need your voice. He'd ring up and I'm like, hey, man, can you just say, yeah, I can't wait to hear this next song? And then I'm coming out of the back of Ed Sheeran. I'm like, what about Ed Sheeran? Hey, Brian McFadden, you love that, Maddie? He's like, yeah, I love it. I love it.
He always used to ring me on a Monday as well after a heavy weekend, and that's when I used to do my best work. But I'm going to go back to Anaconda by Nicki Minaj. I got a bit of a story about that one. I can't remember. I think it was 2014 or 2015, and I got a random phone call from a random number, and it was one of the big touring agencies. I can't remember what they were called, and they said, "We've had a DJ fall through. We need you to open for Katy Perry."
Wow!
Tonight, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, all right, yeah, done, no worries." So I was the first guy, like before the warm up. Do you know what I mean? Like that, they opened the doors and I played for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And when reality set in, I was like, well, what am I going to play here? So I think I went on to Nova's website and just, you know how they show you what's been played in the last hour?
Yeah, Ed Sheeran shape.
Yeah, well, I just went bang, 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 bang. And just downloaded all of those sort of songs, anything that wasn't Katy Perry, I chucked on the playlist, a bit of 5 seconds.
Oh, you wouldn't have many options then. Yeah.
No, I was pretty stuck. And then I remember I just downloaded these songs and I was just playing them. And at this stage, the first 1,000 people through the door were young kids aged probably 5 to 13.
Yeah.
And I'd never heard Anaconda before, so I didn't know what it was about.
Oh, my God.
Don't play that.
And I played it, and it wasn't a radio edit. And
And you played WAP straight after that. You know, that wedding I did a few weeks ago, that was the first time I've actually heard WAP properly. And playing it at a wedding when you've got people from 8 to 80, it is the weirdest song to play. So I totally know where you're at with that. Did you sort of fade out after a certain amount of time? Did you let it play out?
As soon as I realised that it was about her doing illicit drugs off a big then yes, I got off of it.
Whoa, all right.
Can't say that anymore.
Live on Facebook. Yeah, we got. So, Andy, do you remember when we had to get those callers on the air? Like, they're like, mate, you need to get 3 callers every hour, even if you're not calling for something?
Well, like when I used to fill in on a Friday, say if you were emceeing a bloody cricket match somewhere else, right? And the boss was in the...
When?
Sorry?
On a Friday.
Marty Shegold's here. That 9:15 break, I'd always get Yaz to pre-record the perfect caller because I know that was pretty much the only time the PD would be sitting there in his office and would have that time where he would have been there since like 8 o'clock or whatever. But that 9 to sort of 9:45, he'd be listening to that every second. So I'd always prep that. I'd prep that with Yaz every time.
Don't give him the time of day.
Hey, we just got a message on our Facebook page from Wael Al Jamal who says, I have asparagus.
That's DJ Well.
Oh, yeah. Did he used to drive a Hummer?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he used to get pulled over all the time. Yeah. He used to play the I think he used to play the R&B club downstairs when I used to be upstairs at Earth.
Well, his brand was bump and Grind.
Oh, okay. All
right. Okay. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll be able to smell that later. So thank you very much for that, my friend.
Yeah, cannot wait.
We've the radio stuff we love doing because it's a nice part of reflecting. Hold on, there's Jody's watching. The only time the PD was sitting in his office. So Jody is watching. Thank you very much, Jody, for having a chat. We are talking some radio stories now on the Best Team Men emergency podcast, and it's great talking about them because we can do it now because we've had lots of fun chats about it. This is the time of year, Maddie, and for people who don't know, a lot of the key teams in radio go on their break now. So the survey and the ratings kind of finish, and they have about a 6-week break. And what normally happened when I was working with Andy is Andy was the guy that worked Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, Christmas Day. And this is how the conversation went. We kind of got a role play, all right? So, Maddie, just pretend you're working in sales or you're working in finance and you're about to go on a holiday. So I'll be Jared. Andy, you be Andy. Maddie, Who are you going to be?
I'm Lyndon.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Boom.
Okay, so guys, welcome. It's the last day of survey. It's the end of November, start of December. We've got about 6 weeks until January. Maddie, what are you up to, mate? You taking a bit of a break? Where are you going?
Yeah, mate, I'm going up the river for a couple of weeks and just going to put my feet up and enjoy some time, yeah.
That's awesome. Big shout out to LT. The big LT is watching us on Facebook now, which is fantastic. Love you, LT. And Maddie's going away. I'm going to do that too. Actually, I've booked a trip to the Bahamas. I've been there 47 times, which is amazing. Going to leave some money there. Might even launder some as well, but it doesn't matter. Andy, mate, everyone's going to have a great time when they go on holidays. Now, mate, are you still all good to work for the next 6 weeks without a day off, including Christmas Day and New Year's Eve, and not get paid any extra or fed? You're doing your bit for the team. You're all good for that, mate?
Oh yeah. It sounds like a good time. I guess I'll put my hand up for that. I do another job, but I'll put the extra work in if that's what you need. I know Lachlan certainly knows that I work really hard for his business. And will pay me really well off the back of that. And I did not get paid for 3 years for that. But anyway, listen. They used to happen all the time. So what would happen is like the crazy days would be I would do production in the morning until say 8:30. Jump into the studio, prepared for a 9 to 12 shift, for instance. And then once that shift finished, I would then jump back into production and continue on with the day, and because Fridays are busy. But also at some point during that time that I was there, I was also doing digital. So I would have my production gear in front of me, and then I would literally swivel and have my digital Mac and then continue on while I was waiting for something to export or bounce out at Pro Tools or whatever. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was unreal. Maddie, we're just over halfway through this emergency podcast. Once again, for the people who've just tuned in, South Australia's in lockdown at the moment for 6 days. We've been doing this podcast all year and we love doing it. It's the people who watch and listen to it who actually make it worthwhile. And it's you guys who hit us up on social media on what's our social medias, Maddie?
At Best Team Men on Twitter and Instagram, and then facebook.com/Best Team. You know the Facebook though, because you're on it now if you're watching.
Oh, that's exactly right. But it's these people that make choice to listen to us, which is awesome. And it's also people like Con and Lena at Brighton Trophy Centre, Steve at Mind and Movement, Shifty Lizard, Odd Sock Mob that make the choice. And especially I reckon we need to talk about Con and Lena because they're shut down for the next 6 days and it's prime time for them as well. You've spent a lot of time with Con. Let's just talk about it quickly because they're amazing, and they're not just amazing business, but the people that they are too are outstanding, Matty.
They are. They're two of the nicest people you'll ever meet. They work their butts off for their business, and just the enjoyment that they get out of helping people and seeing happy customers is a real testament to their business.
Awesome. Now, Andy, it is time for a little sporting segment. We started this podcast, Maddie and I absolutely love sport. Yesterday, if you're an AFL fan, you would know that the AFL has changed a lot of its rules. So we thought we'd bring in a segment that some of you may not be familiar with. Basically, Maddie and I ask Andy his thoughts on some sporting issues, and we've got an intro for it.
Andy's burning sporting issues.
Yep. There we go.
There were a couple of changes yesterday with the AFL rules going into season 21. What do you reckon, Andy?
I have no idea about it whatsoever.
Okay, hold on. What's going on here?
Josh Miller's just written, Matty got lotion handy behind him within reach of the computer.
No, very good. So there's a couple of changes in the AFL next year, Andy. First of all, they've reduced the numbers of the interchange for next season. I think it's into the 70s now. What are your thoughts?
What's an interchange? Like, is that the place where people sit on the side and they swap?
Yes.
Is it? And what's 70? Like, is that 70 throughout the game?
Yeah, it's in the 70s.
Why are people swapping so many times? They get paid a lot of money.
They're saying that it's not enough because they've got some high rotations going on. Okay, Maddie, talk about one of the other rule changes, please.
Andy, what are your thoughts on not being able to move off the mark?
Well, mate, you actually took a modder off the back of some bloke's back and then caught the footy ball there. So I'd assume that you would just stay there if you wanted to kick on or whatever the term is.
Kick on.
What I love about that is Andy's gone into full condescending mode. He's like, well, mate, I'm just going to footy talk you right here.
Yeah, mate.
And just finally, what about your thoughts on the kick-ins, Andy, of people making sure that they're inside the 50-metre arc?
Do I look like Graham Corns? just there?
Well, there you go. You need to play the intro again, ladies and gentlemen. That was Andy's Burning Sporties Issues.
Andy's Burning Sporting Issues.
Andy's Burning Sporting Issues.
Okay. Andy, tell us about the Nova boat before you play one of the Adelaide United before one of the funniest things Andy has ever made. And this is the first time the public are going to hear this.
Oh, yeah. So there used to be let's go back. So every year in summer, there used to be some sort of like benchmark that the station wanted to win against other stations and also like be the leader of the rest of the network and the rest of the nation and have something cool and brand new and something that hasn't been done before. And something that came up was the Nova boat. So there was a boat that was going to go to all the beaches across Adelaide and hand out stuff to the people on the beach, and it'll be great for Instagram. You know, kids will love it. They can, like, Mix did it years and years ago. They'd throw Mix frisbees off the back of it. It was like all in a Coca-Cola ad. It was crazy, right? So we came at the Nova boat.
We've got to stop down for a second though, because there was a couple of things that with the Nova boat that there were a few flags that no one had their boat license, so they all had to apply for it.
No, because it was a commercial craft. You needed your commercial boat driver's license. So only commercial, say, fishermen or industrial boat drivers could do it. Basically, according to insurance, is that a term?
Yeah. We also didn't have a boat shed, so the Nova boat lived in one of our announcers' garages. Yeah,
Kale's garage. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So
he's just driving it down Grange when no one else is using it.
Yeah, I don't think he got paid for it either. It just stayed there. There was some crazy stuff about that Nova boat. I mean, it didn't really work that well, and it was very expensive. But
well, the hard thing was that normally if you're driving a promotional vehicle, what you do is you pull up to a local shopping centre and you're like, g'day guys, we're at Carolta Park here for the next 30 minutes, come and get Nando's, or you can come and see Kmart. I've got $4 vouchers to give away. I've pocketed all the CDs, but you can come and I'll pretend that I've got them to give away, which is awesome. Back to you in the studio. But this one was basically, g'day guys, we are on the Nova boat. We are at the end of the Brighton jetty, so if you're a good swimmer and you have a low risk of drowning, swim out to us and we'll give you a Nova frisbee, which is going to be difficult swimming back the other way because you've got one hand holding the frisbee, the other hand you need to do one-arm freestyle. But you know what? If you're good at that, good luck. Cheers. We thought, how is this going to work? And a lot of the time, the boat didn't start.
Yeah, that's and also I remember in the early meetings of this, which I also brought up about the plane. But anyway, back in my surf life saving days, I remember there was always issues with councils and who controls the beach, and there was always laws depending on how far out of the water you are. And I knew that you can't stop in certain areas, especially if you're on a jet ski or whatever. So there's always going to be issues. And I remember saying specifically about the city of Holdfast Bay is that they don't like people parking boats no matter what it is, anywhere near the ocean or people, because of insurance law, maritime law, all that sort of stuff. It's pretty juicy when you get down to it. And half the beaches they wanted to stop at, they couldn't stop at legally. Yeah. So anyway,
sweet.
Sweet.
Andy, you're a star.
So thought I just want to play that one there. Obviously voiced it myself. So,
No, like, yeah, because the people who are watching, I said to Andy once, "Can you get a grab of the Killers song, Andy, You're a Star?" He's like, "Mate, I can't due to licensing, but I voiced one. Here it is."
Well,
and it's great.
Side note to that, I had a meeting with a lawyer who's involved with music here in Australia, and he explained to me what APRA is, and that if I just stay away from the 2 record labels that own APRA, they can't touch us. Just saying.
Yeah.
Apart from Maddie, who's got his music with APRA, and then all of a sudden we get in trouble there. But
yeah, we don't want to associate with any kind of controversy here.
Anyway, so during summer, when I had a little bit of spare time before we hit the 3 jobs at once over the period of Christmas, I would just often make stuff. And I would often make stuff for our own sort of mental health, and also just to make the boss laugh, because he was also involved in the, going, what?
Yeah, so when we had this boss, we got to say this boss that we had was a legend, right? He's loved a good time, incredible radio brain, and the best thing about him, I reckon, I'll say his name. His name is Dave, right? And what we loved about Dave backed you in. Like, you actually didn't have to doubt that the boss believed in what you were doing. So he'd get to a point where he's like, and I think I'll get to wisdom with Walshy in a second, but this kind of ties it in. The belief that he had in you to go, I'm a leader, but I trust that you are in the position for a reason, and I'll pull you into line when I need to. And that gives you confidence and trust and belief in yourself. And that was, he was amazing. And the fact that we all were having these chats about what was going on and we could take the piss out of ourselves, it made the environment fun. Would you agree, Andy?
100%. Yeah, and I'd do stuff like this and would make him fall off his chair in laughing. It was great. So I would obviously make the promos that would run over summer for the Nova boat. So this is a mixture of that and a mixture of, I guess, the truth, maybe. I don't know how you want to write that one then, Jared. But people know all about it.
Nova boat.
Casanova, Darryl, the boat's running a bit rough. That's all right. That's all we can afford. Oh, there we go.
At your local beach and on the river this summer. Keep an eye out for the
Yeah, so there you go. So that's just another bit of great audio out of the vault that, that we would just make.
How long did Cartman do voiceovers for Nova for?
He's very good, Andy Mark.
Oh, that's all we could afford.
Okay, so wisdom with Walshy. We have a little bit more radio to play. We can wrap up very soon. So, boys, yesterday I listened to a podcast that JJ Redick, who's an NBA player with the New Orleans Pelicans. NBA is a sport, Andy, in basketball.
We rank in their polls.
Very true. And he does it with a guy named Tommy Alter. And they spoke to Matthew McConaughey yesterday. And it was fascinating listening to Matthew McConaughey speak, because the way that he carried himself, I thought was amazing. Like, so some of the things he said, that he did roles, but he always treated it as live. He did a movie called Dallas Buyers Club with Jared Leto, and they lost heaps of weight for it, I'm pretty sure. He said the first day I met Jared Leto was at the end of filming, because they're such like character actors where they really get into their character. And he said, I never wanted to meet the person who's playing the character during the filming, because I would see that they are acting. I wanted them, the first day I meet them, to be that character, like Christian Bale in The Dark Knight. Like, he always wanted to be Batman, or Heath Ledger with a joke is probably a better example, right? So one of the things he said, now wisdom with Walshy is I'm on this journey of self-discovery, and I'm loving learning more about myself. I finished the Resilience Project. It was amazing. And listening to this podcast, and people can take from this whatever they like. But this is the quote that Matthew McConaughey said, and it was, there's a gap between who we are and who we portray ourselves to be. So what he's saying is, the person that you put forward right now, is that really authentically you? Or is this the person you are portraying to be? And he said the challenge in life is to close that gap. The sooner we close that gap, the more like fulfilled we are within ourselves. Please tell me if this does not make sense.
No, it makes 100% sense. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think like now, when we're in kind of lockdown and we have time to reflect on what's important, being grateful and for everything, it's really good to like reconnect with yourself. And I think we've got that like on this group of friends that we've got this really nice level to sit down and go, you know, when I lost my job to go, hey, I'm not doing okay. Let's talk about it. Like it's actually a really nice thing to have that as a group of friends because a lot of people don't have that, man. Like a lot of people go, fuck, how exhausting is it to portray someone that you're not in a group of friends because they don't get it. I think it's a pretty sad situation. So we're lucky we've got that because not everyone has that.
No, and it's pretty important in the next 6 days too to have those people in your life.
I agree. Okay, so let's do a couple more radio bits. How much more audio you got, Andy? Have you got Ed or Ed? Yeah, so we had this competition which was Ed or Ed, which what we needed, I think we're giving away Ed Sheeran tickets or a trip to Edinburgh. Or was there something like that? Was it Ed Sheeran tickets or a trip to Edinburgh?
Either one of those is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty. Oh, yes, I think it was Ed Sheeran tickets or a trip to the Edinburgh Comedy Festival.
I'd rather go to Edinburgh.
And so they're like, oh, mate, let's do Ed or Ed. So hopefully on the radio you're saying head. Like it's just, this is irreverent stuff. Do you want Ed or Ed? Yeah, I want Ed. And then you go, well, which one, mate? Which one do you want?
Is this the same marketing department as the NT News?
Yeah, look, I think it's, don't comment on that one. Let's just move on to one. Okay. So I decided to get involved with this one. Andy, have you got the audio, please?
Yeah, is this what we played earlier? I got no idea.
Yeah, this is what we got earlier. Let's just see what it is. I think it's Ed or Ed.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
To Ed or Ed.
I reckon I'll go see Ed Sheeran.
I'd love to go to the Edinburgh Fringe. Get your invite soon.
The Croquet Club has a new home.
Is that you again, the second voice?
We're going to play that again because normally we would hear a promo and we're like, oh, are real people actually connecting with this? So can you please play that again?
To Ed or Ed.
I reckon I'll go see Ed Sheeran.
I'd love to go to the Edinburgh Fringe. Get your invite soon.
The Croquet Club.
To Ed.
Oops, sorry, that was my bad. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so what we like to do on this podcast is play radio audio. I've got 16 years of radio audio that I have saved, which is great.
52,000 emails.
I haven't looked at, you know what? I spent months downloading 54,000 emails and I haven't looked at one of them. How sad is that? Wait, there's a siren in Port Adelaide. No, that's quite normal.
Thursday night.
It's just a Thursday night in Adelaide. So what else have we got to report, Matty? How's your back going?
Yeah, it's getting there. I went to the doctor on Monday and I'm still not allowed to drive a whole heap, so I still can't work for another 3 weeks, which is awesome.
Oh, no, but you can have work meetings which delay the podcast for an hour.
What the hell, man?
And sorry,
what? No, nothing.
How are you going, Andy? What have you got planned for the next couple of days? I think I'm just going to try and make an executive decision. I'm not an executive here; we're a team. I think we should do this again before the 6 days wraps up.
Yeah, for sure.
We can do this on Facebook Live and connect with our community. Doesn't matter if there's one person or 20 people. We've had about 20 people watch this throughout the whole Facebook Live consistently, which is great. What do you got planned for the next 5 days?
The next 5 days is just podcasts. Just podcasting.
You going to talk to your family at all?
Nah, I just probably just lock myself here in the fun room, as you can see.
Fun room. Looks like Matty's room is the fun room with the bloody sorbeline cream that he's got back there.
Well, that's actually Kira's desk, so it's not mine.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. Come on, guys. Bloody hell.
Well, your dad's a dog, mate. So hey.
Oh, so I've heard.
Yeah, so your mum sent me a message on Instagram.
You know what's funny? My dear old mum is she's a ripper, and it's funny when she follows someone or she likes someone's page on Facebook. She thinks that they're Facebook friends.
We are.
So when she liked The Rock's page, she goes, "I'm friends with The Rock on Facebook." Good on you, Mum.
Hey, Maddie, can you smell The Rock is cooking?
Seen our Twitter page. I sent her a DM and I'm like, "I love you." And she's like, "I love you back." And I wrote, "Your husband is a dog."
She'd probably agree.
Okay, boys, I want you to do something for me here. Sure. You might laugh at this, but I think it's important. We need to finish off this podcast, this Facebook Live, by practicing one thing. I'm actually getting my daughter to do this every night, which I think is really important. It's a little bit of wisdom with Walshy. I want you to say one thing to the people who are watching, something you are grateful for. The reason why I'm instilling this in my daughter is because I want her to not focus on the stuff that she doesn't have. I want her to focus on the things that she does have, like growing up. So whatever you guys are grateful for over this time of lockdown where we're reflecting, can I ask you, what are you grateful for? You can have a serious one, a fun one, doesn't matter. Tell us, and then I want the people watching here to leave this podcast, best team men who have chosen to be with us tonight, which we are very grateful for. What are you grateful for, Matt Burgess?
I'm extremely grateful for my pre-lockdown information to be able to go to the supermarket and load up before everyone else.
Oh, that's fair enough. Is that your serious one or your funny one?
Pretty selfish. Funny one. No, look, I'm very thankful. This is going to sound really cliche. I'm thankful for my wife because she's actually working, or she's still working. She's working from home. So I'm thankful to her that she's kicked me out of the office and taken over the spare room. You fart there.
No.
Oh, hang on. This is what gave it away.
You telling legally?
You just rose about 10 centimetres.
Wait, Eddie, have you got a sound effect ready? What do you mean?
Oh, that was too real.
Yeah.
Too real. But no, I'm thankful for my wife because she makes it being easy to be here with her. So,
Eddie.
Yeah, I also am thankful for my future wife. And also the rest of my family, because without her, she is taking care of 4 kids right now out there and trying to keep them all asleep or awake or hidden away from this area. Wouldn't be able to do this time without her, to be completely honest with her. And also me and my parents. They've been fantastic with their grandchildren and stuff like that. And Dad's just retired, so he's got the full-time sort of availability to look after the girls whenever he needs to, and so yeah, it's fantastic. So, there's another one. Sorry, I had some dairy earlier, so they sound great. By the way, they are so real. They're not the fake stuff. Not at all.
Oh, so I'd like to echo your sentiments, boys. I'm, we say this every podcast, but I'm so grateful for people taking the time to listen to what we have to say, because if no one listened to us, we'd still be doing this because it's awesome. I've said to you, once I lost my job, my wife said, doing this podcast, it's the most me she's heard. And we had times where we've had real talk, we have lots of fun talk, but we connect. And without getting too soppy, this is like, Maddie, I worked with you so long ago, and Andy, I worked with you, but we had at work, we were hanging out every day, and then our kind of jobs changed. So we weren't hanging out every day, which was crap. But this is a great way for us to stay connected and to have what we had, which is an amazing friendship. So for people to enjoy what we're talking about, it's awesome. I'm grateful for that. And I think we should be grateful that we're living here. We're not just in South Australia, but in Australia. We're so fortunate in so many things. All I'm saying is for people to try and be grateful for something. It changes your mindset completely. I'm just going to lean over here, Andy. I'm just going to lean over. And it just changed everything.
Felt that one.
Yeah.
Jesus.
See, this is all the stuff that we could never do.
We've had a request for the Pitbull shaver to come out.
Yeah, it's in the bathroom. But
I'll go get it. I'll go get mine.
All right, go get it.
Oh,
has he got pants on?
Can't wait, guys. Oh yeah, speaking of that, I don't know about you. I'm wearing bloody pajama pants, mate. I know what's going on.
See, you got sick pajama pants on. Now, 2 other mentions, right? So Lena has just mentioned on the Facebook page, she's grateful that we've done the Facebook because Con was doing stuff. And Con messaged the other night and said he was having a shit night. I don't want to break confidence, but we've got people who listen to us who actually send us messages, whether Twitter or Facebook, saying, I'm having a shit day. Thank you for putting a smile on my face. If that is the least we can do, is put a smile on your face and change your day because we take the piss out of ourselves, fuck yeah, bring it on. That's amazing because we want to help people who are feeling crap, and we're fine to have a laugh and just enjoy ourselves, and hopefully you can escape for a little bit. Maddie, sell us the Pitbull shaver.
Well, guys, if you guys need to shave your head and need to take some time.
No, that's it there. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, glad you got
you sold
that.
it to me, mate. Well done. It's very good. So this is the challenge that we've got now. We need to talk. Okay, Andy, we're going to leave it to you. Let's say our goodbyes. Then, Andy, you've got to wrap it up because you've got to make sure that Con talks at the right time when we wrap up the podcast. You know what I mean? We play the Con bit at the end. So we're doing this live.
I forgot the number. It should be good.
Follow us on social. I think it's like 8 seconds or something. Follow us on social media. Thank you. We are going to do this again before lockdown finishes.
I reckon we get a couple more.
I've had heat. Have you had fun?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll give a bit more warning next time as well, so people can
give you more warning. You gave me a fucking hour before you rocked up. You absolute fuckwit. We said we are live now. It was like, like, hey, yeah, fuck off.
All right, let's throw it over to Con. Take it out, Con. Best team man. I stuffed it.
Do it again.
Andy's not a star.
Here we go. All right, here we go. Can't see a number. I'm just going to feel it. Con, Brighton Trophy Centre. Take it out, brother. Here we go.
Brought to you by the Brighton Trophy Centre. Cups, trophy, badges, medals. Yeah, we do it better. Best team, man. BTC, BTF, BTS. Yeah. Best team, man. Oh, yeah.
Sweet. Okay.